So, Mr. Marking, assistant principal extraordinaire, asked me if I'd tell you guys a story. And my story is about a rock. I started teaching at Redwood High School in January of 1998. My first day of teaching was the day that it snowed. If you don't know about that day, because you weren't alive yet, maybe you could ask your parentals, if they were in Visalia at the time, what it was like on the day that it snowed. But that was my first day of teaching. I got hired in January, and they had an opening. And I got an interesting group of kids. I was teaching 2 or 3 different classes. I had no experience whatsoever. I had graduated from college just the month before, and I was kind of learning by doing when it came to teaching. And I had an American Lit Honors class. Before we had AP Lang, we had American Lit Honors, and it was a junior level class. And in that class, it was after lunch, I had a young person named John. And John was a water polo stud. He had like 0% body fat. He had like a 12-foot wingspan. He could egg beater water up to his belly button for 25 minutes. He filled the goal. The guy was a stud in the water polo pool. But he really wasn't all that into English class. I'll just tell you that. So we were talking about transcendentalism when we were studying Thoreau and Emerson. And I was trying to explain the concept of transcendentalism to John, and he was just having a heck of a time understanding it. And I got a little frustrated. I'd only been a teacher for just a month or so, and I didn't know how to get the idea into John's head. And I, out of frustration, said, "John, come on, man. Even a rock could understand this." And people giggled, and class was over, and they went on their way. The next day, in class, regular old day, teaching, doing stuff. And John, after the bell rang, hung out until everybody had left the room. And he reached into his backpack, and he walked up to my desk, and he produced this. And he took it, and he placed it on my desk, and he said, "Prove it." I felt awful. He took this rock, and he put it on my desk, and he said, "Prove it." I, the day before, had said to John that even a rock could understand this, and he wanted proof. I had hurt his feelings, and it really wasn't a very nice thing. I didn't have much experience, and I was used to, talking to people in college classes where you could be a little rough, and you could say, "Hey, you're full of it," or "Hey, you don't know what you're talking about." But in high school, when you're working with kids, you got to be a little more careful. Well, that was 1998, and I've kept this rock on my desk for 22 years. And every day I look at it and I think of John, and I think how we've got to be pretty careful sometimes the way we talk to kids or talk to each other, because what we think is no big deal a lot of times can really hurt somebody's feelings. Now, John was a stud. He was great in the water polo pool. Everybody loved him. He was a popular kid, a lot of fun. But in the classroom, he struggled a little bit. And I unfairly said that even a rock was smarter than him. So, be careful what you say. There's my story. Maybe you need a rock on your desk to remind you. Hey, don't forget, make it big, do it right, and give it class. Peace.